Global financial trust requires a firm anchor in stormy waters. That anchor is a stable currency backed by geopolitical and geoeconomic power. Until now, that role has been played by the dollar combined with the Pax Americana, understood as a monopoly on force and therefore a source of international stability. Now, the data shows that this America-centered architecture is slowly declining. The point, Christine Lagarde has expressed satisfaction with this trend, as she sees it as a catalyst for the evolution of the euro as a global reference currency. While I understand her desire to end her ECB term on a positive note regarding euro management after much criticism, I consider it a major, monetary policy error to envision a replacement of the dollar by the euro when it comes to the central bank's core mission, generating trust. While I do think it's appropriate to respond to the dollar's relative long-term weakness by developing a gradual convergence plan among G7 currencies, along with expanding the G7 into a G7+ format, this should lead to the creation of a meta-currency, called credit, based on a basket of currencies with limited exchange rate fluctuation between them, the dollar, euro, pound sterling, yen, and Canadian dollar. It could later be extended to other nations joining G7+, such as Australia, New Zealand, South Korea, and others. This strategic scenario, on which my transatlantic research group has been working since 2013, currently has a lower probability than its opposite, geomonetary fragmentation. However, long-term simulations I believe to be realistic, what-if scenarios, show two prevailing trends. A. There is no single national successor to the U.S. empire in the democratic world. B. Consequently, there is no national anchor currency capable of sustaining global financial trust. The euro, though resilient, suffers from the lack of an integrated fiscal policy, reflecting a lasting confederalization gap. The yuan has a substantial power base but is limited by its authoritarian regime. Therefore, the remaining pillar of financial trust is monetary integration among democracies. This is highly unlikely under a Trump administration, but a first step toward Euro-American geopolitical convergence cannot be ruled out, given that without the EU, America cannot realistically aspire to remain the foremost global power, and without America, the EU lacks sufficient global strength. After Trump, despite strong isolationist currents in the U.S., a revision of the American posture aimed at retaining leadership within a framework of allied integration seems plausible. We are at a point of systemic metastability, a world-shifting transition. But democratic states and their central banks must not lose sight of the top priority, building financial trust, which forms the foundation for economic confidence.